It's the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike, welcoming you to this edition of my twisted world of Masters of Mayhem right here. Thank you very much for joining me, and you never know what you're going to find here when I'm on the air. Thank you very much for joining me. So on that note, I want you to sit back, rip the top off a cold one, roll up a fatty, and enjoy this edition of PsYcHo Mike's twisted world of Masters of Mayhem.
This is the Tattooed Madman, and you're going to see the Tattooed Madman of professional wrestling. I'm PsYcHo Mike, and here's my partner. Woo, that's a PsYcHo Mike, booga wooga man. We coming at you, Jack. We're going to be balling squad, climb the wall. Old time Jubilee blood's going to flow like wine. On Masters of Mayhem Wrestling. All right, Jack. You! Disrupto from floor! And you're watching PsYcHo Mike kicking ass!
Big Gang the Mighty from 4, and you're watching PsYcHo Mike kicking ass on back.
Well, I'm sitting here jamming with the Kids from your Bandits! And you're watching PsYcHo Mike kicking ass on Masters of Mayhem! Woo!
Hello, wrestling fans in the Cleveland area. I'm Jeff Jarrett, and I'd like to say hello to all the great people in Northeast Ohio. You know, I've heard there's a lot of great things that come out of Cleveland. You got the Cavaliers, you've got the Browns, you've got the Indians. They're going to be there, and one in particular that I've heard about, and he's like a good buddy of mine. I've talked to him several times. His name is PsYcHo Mike, and I'm looking forward to seeing him up July 11th.
This is Violent J, the Insane Clown Boss. Too dope, and when we're in Cleveland, that's all we watch, brother. We check out the Masters of Mayhem. That's right. Mayhem. Professional wrestling at its best. Masters of Mayhem, brother. You better recognize Masters of Mayhem and Violent J. Stranglemania style, brother. Oh, yeah.
Telling you, it is your main maniac, the Ghoul, and we're all going to watch PsYcHo Mike beat the cheese whiz out of each and every opponent on the Masters of Mayhem Wrestling. Hey! How you doing?
Scary Sherry, the one and only Sister Sherry Martell. Cleveland, Ohio, the Masters of Mayhem Wrestling, the only professional wrestling that has been here in the last 5 years, where you ought to go now. Bye.
Hey, we're going to watch Masters of Mayhem Wrestling.
Masters of Mayhem.
Where you ought to be.
Where you ought to be.
You're watching Masters of Mayhem. Everybody stay tuned. You never know who you're going to see on Masters of Mayhem or what you're going to hear on MMA.
Cleveland, it's the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike, along with Sweet Destiny from Team Law.
Yo, Cleveland, Ohio! You're watching the Masters of Mayhem with Team Law.
Then alongside Sensational Summer. Cleveland, what's happening? It's the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike, along with Team Law's Cat. Stay tuned, Cleveland. Thank you.
This thing's...
What's happening, Cleveland? It's the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike, here along with Team Law's Bobcat.
Pussy that fight. Don't forget you'll be seeing me down here in Cleveland in Masterz Of Mayhem.
Cleveland! It's Tater! I'm
Big hair wrestling. You can't beat it with a stick. You can't whip it with a switch. Don't even try. You don't like breaking. Yeah!
Macho Man Randy Savage, and you are watching the Masters of Mayhem in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh yeah, dig it!
Hearing all the time. What? Hallelujah! We got a brand new dance. It's called a bird. Woo! The master. Let's break.
This is the Orange Sheik. You are watching Master Maho Wrestling. Don't touch the
This is Typhoon the Natural Disaster, and you're watching Masters of Mayhem Wrestling.
Hey, this is the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike with some wrestler fans.
Hi, my name's Branya. We find girls like us watching
Masters of Mayhem Wrestling.
We watch Masters of Mayhem. We never, ever take our eyes off the Masters of Mayhem. Love you, baby. Yay!
Just what do people think of Masters of Mayhem Wrestling after just one viewing?
I like it.
And so will you. Check out Masters of Mayhem, Wrestling, Music, and Chaos.
All highlights. So, sit back, lift the top off the floor, and enjoy this week's edition of Masters of Mayhem Wrestling. Oh, and by the way, Happy New Year!
Up into the ring in just a moment or two for more exciting fucking action.
Begins a special three-part series that finds out exactly why wrestling is so popular. And he even attempts to answer the age-old question, is it fake?
They called themselves Mr. Nitro and Hulk Hogan Jr. They were my old neighbors, and my wife told me many, many times to be careful wrestling them in the backyard when I was known as Pizza Man, champion wrestler of Ripley Road. My neighbors reminded me of the midget wrestlers so popular in the 1950s. The names they had chosen reminded me of a simpler time, wrestling in the 60s.
It's the Sheik against Bobo Brazil, Buddy Rogers and Killer Kowalski. There's a shot of Buddy Rogers.
Today's wrestlers are bigger, stronger, with more colorful names like PsYcHo Mike, who is announced as being from Hell's Kitchen, New York, but he's really Michael Brown from Cleveland's South Side.
It's more conditioning than anything. You have to be conditioned to take those kind of bumps night after night. Sometimes if you land wrong, there's no amount of conditioning that can help you. You're hurt.
Hurt is what a lot of the fans want to see. They want to see the other guy smashed and bashed, opened up and closed down.
Who are the people attending these matches? Well, tonight, anywhere from 25 to 30% of this audience is made up of youngsters. Kids from 3 to 4 years old all the way up to their late teens.
For kids, just what is the attraction? How aware are they of what is going on in the ring?
Well, they don't really get hurt
hurt that much like they act like it, but it's cool.
Whatever it is big, big business. Entertainment.
Anybody that doesn't think all sports come under the heading of entertainment, they're sadly mistaken, because that's all they are.
Tomorrow, just how big a business is pro wrestling. Alan DiPietro, Eyewitness News.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to try? No, maybe not. Well,
I can think of other ways that are...
They eat as well, don't they? Well, the big names can really afford to eat whatever they want. As Alan DiPietro tells us in part 2 of WrestleManiacs, they make a lot more money than just what they carry out of the ring.
The World Wrestling Federation. It's the big leagues of wrestling. Its #1 attraction is Hulk Hogan.
I wouldn't be afraid to venture that Hogan makes in the millions for the year.
It's a big business for the World Wrestling Federation, but for a wrestler like Hulk Hogan, it's a bonanza. He gets more than $1 million a year from the sale of T-shirts, games, dolls, whatever.
Whatever includes $6 posters, wristbands that also sell for $6. And on a Saturday night at the Coliseum, fans were busy buying the newest item for sale at wrestling shows, trading cards.
Yeah, they just started those. About 2 months ago.
How have they been selling?
Good, because the kids trade between themselves and just like baseball cards.
The 6,000 or so in attendance for the show paid $8, $10, $13 a ticket. But pro wrestling these days is making much of its money on television.
Actually, the fan attendance now has sort of dropped off because there's so much on television. It gets increasingly more difficult to get a wrestling fan to go out and pay $10 for a wrestling ticket.
But while the big league is raking it in, there are still dozens of smaller outfits like the Great Lakes Wrestling Association struggling to make a profit. And guys like PsYcHo Mike, wrestling 3 to 5 times a week, struggling to make a living.
I get anywhere between $125 to $250 a night, plus air and accommodations.
Tomorrow, we'll take a look at the most often asked question about professional wrestling. Is it fake? Alan DiPietro, Eyewitness News.
Just don't ask PsYcHo Mike that question.
Be careful.
He might bop you.
Be careful.
On the off...
Yo, what's up? We're Bob. We're from New York, and you're watching PsYcHo Mike.
Kicking ass on Masterz Of Mayhem Wrestling!
Wrestling, what comes to mind? Well, you probably think of oily, large men pretending to hurt each other. Most likely you don't think about an industry concerned with giving something back to the community. But David Bacon says you may need to think again.
Professional wrestlers create many different images. They're athletes to some, entertainers to most, but showmen above all.
It's a fun event, and it's a family event. So, I mean, it's wrestling, but don't think of it as the bad wrestling, okay? We're here to entertain.
PsYcHo Mike Brown is a local professional wrestler, the creator of Masterz Of Mayhem Wrestling. What makes them a little different is they often wrestle to raise money for charities.
Wrestling can get a very bad name. We're just keeping it positive, doing the charity stuff. You know, it's one of those feel-good things. You've been trying to make a difference.
Tonight's Masterz Of Mayhem wrestling card here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel on the near west side is to benefit a Cleveland police officer, Mike Yakima. He's afflicted with a rare nerve disorder.
I know Mike. I met Mike when I was a store detective, and he's a great guy. So, I mean, anybody's my friend or something I can help out with, you know, something that touches my heart, and I can help somebody, and I have the resources, I'm going to try. That's what it's all about. I may be this big, scary guy, but I'm really a teddy bear. You didn't hear me say that.
It kind of makes you look at flying clotheslines in a whole new way. David Bacon for CBS 19 News.
A 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 255 pounds from St. Petersburg, Florida, Buzz Sawyer, the Mad Dog. And across the ring from New York, Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe, the bell is sounded. Broadway Joe Malcolm is in there with a Mad Dog, and he is as physical and as brutal as anybody in professional wrestling. And he is taking it to Broadway Joe. He may wish he was back in the Big Apple. After Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer takes a bite, and he is taking a bite, literally out of the Broadway man.
This man is as physical as anybody you'll ever see in professional wrestling. Broadway Joe just barely getting that coat off, and he looks dazed and confused. Sawyer He has him up. He's got him on the turnbuckles. What's he doing?
Oh! He planted it. That is the most devastating power slam I've ever seen in wrestling right there. The Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer didn't get his bandana off. Look at the face. Look into the eyes of the Mad Dog right there and will be...
Oh, yeah. Hi, we're the Insane Clown Posse. And that's Twisted. Don't worry, you won't be seeing any of our music videos on this channel.
Our music is underground, way deep underground.
You won't be hearing us on any radio stations either. Our music is only for a select few.
We call them juggalos. You fear juggalos.
We live, breathe, and die for juggalos. Their wish is our command. And our wish is their command.
So we bought and paid for this time just to say two things.
Number one, any juggalo that might be out there watching, we just like to say.
Number two, for everybody else, we know you hate Insane Clown Posse, but we love you.
Mayhem. That's right, Mayhem. Professional wrestling at its best.
Masters of Mayhem Wrestling on Cleveland Public Access Channel 54, or visit us on the web, or...
Come on and witness. Masters of Mayhem are in the house. The Masters of Mayhem. That's right. Professional wrestling at its best. Up next.
Who are you?
See more smoke. Smoke detector. And I see more smoke coming from that toaster.
Oh my. Thanks for warning us, Seymour.
I hate smoke. So whenever I see it, I make this noise to warn you. Because where there's smoke, there may be fire.
Be cool about fire safety.
PsYcHo Mike here, the tattooed madman. Stay tuned for more chaos. Oh yeah, I'm hated by many, loved by very few. Hey, this is the tattooed madman PsYcHo Mike. And if you don't want to get locked in a mental ward with me, you'll click like and hit subscribe now.